Hi, my name's Rachel and I am a former Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't raised as a witness, I was actually raised as a Catholic and began studying with Jehovah's Witnesses when they came to my door. I was in my early 20s. At the age of 25, I was baptised and I remained a witness for 22 years. During that time, I had two children and raised them to be Jehovah's Witnesses, yet neither of them were baptised. My son decided it wasn't for him and left in his late teens, and my daughter actually exited with me, fortunately. My reason for leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses was pretty much down to the doctrines. For many years there'd been a number of doctrines that hadn't really added up for me, they hadn't made sense, yet I was just being told to wait on Jehovah and everything will be all right in the end. But that didn't sit well with my conscience. There were teachings that really bothered my conscience, mainly with the way witnesses are taught to view people of other religions and the world, people in the world in general. So when I was excommunicated or disfellowshipped from the witnesses, it was on the grounds of apostasy, according to them, because I no longer agreed with the leadership. So when I was disfellowshipped, an announcement was made at the meeting at the Kingdom Hall, and that alerted everyone there that they were not to associate with me any longer. So for 10 years I've been shunned by all my former friends. Fortunately for me, I didn't have any family, like siblings or parents, that were part of the organisation, and as I said, my children left with me. So I've come off relatively unscathed compared to a lot of people who have lots of family members there, and maybe several generations of their families have been witnesses. So I did find it very hard being disfellowshipped because of the way people, my former friends, now viewed me. They saw me now as somebody to be frightened of, that I was dangerous to them, to their spirituality, and I found that very hard to accept. But as I said, I had no family shunning me. It would have been infinitely worse if they had been. I decided to go through with the disfellowshipping procedure. You attend a judicial committee meeting where essentially it's like a trial. You put on trial. The elders are there to see whether you're repentant or not, and if not, they will disfellowship you. And I have to say that attending that meeting was one of my proudest moments. I really stood up for my conscience, and I've never regretted that at all. And I found that once I left, I felt like I was rejoining the human race again, that I could now look at fellow human beings in the eye and see them for who they really are, rather than who the organisation painted them out to be, which was worldly enemies of God. So it really made me a better human being, I think. It's not all roses, of course, being out of the organisation and in the world. There are problems in the world, and there are good people and bad people, but I get to make my own choice about who I want to associate with or not, who I want to listen to or not, what I want to read or not. To me, it's so important to be able to make these decisions for myself, so they sit right with my conscience and I can fully own them. Whereas in the organisation, you're told exactly what to believe, who to talk to, that sort of thing. So I've felt I've really benefited by leaving. I've met lots of really neat people since leaving, and I think one of the main things for me going through the whole process of leaving was keeping integrity to myself. I think that's very important, being true to myself and not living a lie. And I think if you do that, even if it comes at a cost, you will have a measure of peace. So anyway, I think I've spoken long enough. Bye.